Good evening. Just wanted to take some time to thank you for watching today's show, Forgotten Stories, Amethyst, Joseph Bologne Le Chevalier de Saint-Georges. The three things that I wanted you to get out of today's show is one, and as always, the importance of telling your story. The importance of being able to discover the things that's inside of you and seeing value in that. Two, taking that value, taking that understanding of yourself and telling that story. And when I say tell your story, I'm not even talking about telling it to a public audience. I'm talking about telling it to yourself. Understand what you are and see your own value. Like I talked about amethyst. Amethyst used to be a cardinal stone. Diamonds, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and amethyst. I told you that in the Bible, amethyst is clearly represented as one of the stones of the breastplate of the high priest. And yet amethyst now is just so out there. It's not even regarded in that same realm as rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. But if amethyst was a living being, amethyst would understand. It would know that once upon a time, what it was to the world, what it represented. And that's what you have to do. You have to remember in your own mind, in your own spirit, what you are, what you represent. And three, and the most important thing that I wanted you to get out of this episode is understanding, if you don't discover your story, if you don't know how to or haven't learned how to tell that story, then your story will be either lost or more or worse, forgotten. Forgotten. What I got out of reading about the life of Joseph Bologne Le Chevalier de Saint-Georges is, he was this absolutely magnificent human being, just accomplished in every way. The way he looked, the way he dressed, the things he did. He spoke different languages. He was invited. He was an invited guest by kings and queens, presidents. The whole continent of Europe knew this Black man, and yet his story was lost. Nobody even knew about him. At least I certainly didn't. And I've had a pretty good education. And as some of you who watch my program, you know I love Napoleon. You know I love Mozart. And yet I didn't know about this man who looked just like me, who was a slave. And yet he overcame all of that to become who he was. So tell your stories. Do things with the understanding in your mind, not so much of a legacy, but just what are you going to do while you're here? What kind of sound are you going to create? When people think about you and think about the things that you've done in your life, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're the school janitor or driving, a big rig, or whatever you do. Find that value in it. Understand that what you do today will, and this is an old saying, I saw some movie, what you do today will reflect, will resonate for generations to come. I will never be able to live a day in my life without thinking about that once upon a time, there was a man like Joseph Bologne Le Chevalier de Saint-Georges. He as much time as Mozart spent in my head, now this man has a whole new place. And because I know his story, his value has increased. And that's the way it works for everything. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. Next week, we're going to get a little deeper. We're going to get a little deeper into just both sides of the story. So next week, we're going to talk about, in honor of Black History Month, we're going to talk about blood diamonds. I've waited years to be able to have this conversation about blood diamonds. And I'm going to have one of my wonderful viewers, Charlie Jones, to come on. He's one of my great contributors to this show, and I thank him. So he's going to come on, and we're going to just have kind of different takes on, or maybe the same take. I haven't really talked to him about it yet, but I know he liked that movie. I like that movie, and let's see how we take that. So until next time, thank you for viewing the Gem Hunter Stories. My name is Barry Mixon. I am a gemological storyteller. And as always, take time to discover the value of your story. Au revoir. Voila.